You try a new medication. It helps a little bit, but then it stops. Your doctor adds something else. You see a small shift, maybe a minor setback. Then comes another dosage adjustment, another visit, another plan. From the outside, all of this activity looks like clinical progress. But from the inside, if you are the one experiencing it, it feels like you are walking on a treadmill without actually getting anywhere. This stagnation is the direct result of a quiet 30-year shift in healthcare's operating model. The system used to be built around relationships. A doctor knew you, watched your patterns over time, and your care evolved with you. Now it is built around processes, workflows, protocols, and measurable targets. This system relies on a specific assumption. It treats every patient with the same diagnosis as if they will respond the exact same way to a standardized treatment. It assumes that a protocol, applied consistently, will produce a predictable result. In real life, that assumption breaks quickly. And when it does, the system does exactly what it was designed to do. It applies the next logical step in the workflow. Try this, adjust that, replace something else. It traps millions of patients in a cycle of continuous care that rarely converges on actual healing. This highly standardized system saves lives when dealing with acute, linear problems. If you have a broken bone or an aggressive infection, protocols work incredibly well. But chronic health conditions behave differently. They do not follow straight lines. They constantly adapt, compensate, and shift based on context. Look at this illustration of two patients carrying the exact same chronic disease label. Even though their diagnosis is identical, the root drivers branching downward are unique. One condition is tied to immune and metabolic patterns, the other to nervous system tone and personal history. Applying a single protocol ensures failure for at least one, because the same treatment lands differently depending on the underlying biological environment. When you apply rigid tools to highly adaptive biology, you get repetition instead of precision. The treatment simply does not fit the patient, which explains why more care does not reliably produce better outcomes. From the clinician's side, the environment has changed just as aggressively. Time is heavily compressed, visits are shorter, and documentation demands dictate the day. The system rewards volume and measures whatever can be tracked. This pressure forces a change in the actual work of medicine. Doctors have less time for deep pattern recognition and spend more time executing expected steps on a checklist. Clinical judgment is still there, but it is constrained by the structure around it. When interactions feel rushed and chronic patients fail to improve, trust erodes. This isn't a matter of intent. The system simply makes it difficult to maintain the connection necessary for long-term care. Trust is a functional component of medical care. Without it, patients hesitate. They question the plan, miss doses, stop early, and eventually look elsewhere for answers. Now the system compounds its own problem. The treatment is unmatched to the individual's biology, and the clinician-patient relationship is too weak to carry a difficult process forward. Even a logically defensible medical plan becomes fragile and falls apart. Fixing chronic disease requires a different approach, starting with the foundational question asked inside the doctor's office. Instead of asking what treatment matches the diagnosis, you begin by asking why this specific person has this diagnosis in the first place. This is the premise of functional medicine. It is a framework designed to map exactly what led to the condition and what specific systems are involved in keeping it in place. As we can see in this node map, this approach treats the body as a deeply interconnected web. Nervous system tone, metabolism, gut health, and immune function are all part of the same conversation. By identifying these unique, interconnected drivers, the entire sequence of care shifts. It moves from generic application to a hyper-personalized strategy. In this new sequence, the central data point is the individual patient's response, watching carefully to see what actually happens next after a change is made. Instead of attacking a label, you build toward healing. For one patient, the first step might be stabilizing the nervous system so their body can tolerate a treatment. For another, it might mean restoring energy production so healing can physically occur. This method restores the depth lost to efficiency. Here, the patient is a complex system to be understood, and the clinician returns to the role of interpreting intricate biological patterns. Approaching a diagnosis by its root causes may feel slower at the starting line, but it converges much faster. You avoid the dead ends and the endless cycles of trial and error, resulting in more durable progress. Healthcare does not need to choose between efficiency and effectiveness. Protocols are powerful for acute problems, but interpretation is essential for complex ones. Until medical care fits the individual person, simply providing more care will not fix the problem.